Hi, Capricorn. All right, welcome to the space. Happy opposite birthday, or happy now whenever you arrive at this place. Whenever now arrives. Okay, so a few little things before we begin. Well, one, I hope you're good. I hope this finds you well. Number two, I recorded a reading. It was a good reading, solid. And that disappeared somehow. And then I did it again. Also kind of serious. Not that there isn't a need for that, but I heard you already know where you need to be more serious, and I sense that you also know where you shouldn't be maybe so serious. This is some sort of exercise in trust also, and realizing that nothing is yours. You can still be responsible for something. If you want to take a responsibility on, you can be responsible for that, but nothing is yours. I know it seems a little contrary, right, in one way, but I guess I'll give an example of this. So, Zumi, my dog friend, right? One of my best friends. When I found her, somebody was taking care of her, but it was an in-between place, and so I decided that I could take on that responsibility, and I did. And there were definitely times throughout that where I was like, man, can I really do this? Like, this is a lot. Like, am I good enough for this? Right? And then, then I really got into it because I realized the beauty of that responsibility. Right? This necessity, this extra thing I added on my plate, but it was actually really beautiful, not only for me, but for that which was connecting also in that space. And that bond grew really tight, right? And then the thing is situations expanded, and because of that, there was more responsibility, but then there was also, because of the responsibility put in, there was more freedom, right? And then there was a test, and this is where the example comes in, but I feel like you needed a little backdrop there, is, for instance, Zumi and I worked really well and a lot one-on-one together. And because of that, there was a lot of trust built between that. And here one day, because I don't keep her on a leash all the time because I feel like that's restrictive to something, right? It's a control thing. Unless we're in like a dangerous situation like in a city. But she ran off one day. And the first, I'd say, handful of times she ran off, I was petrified. I was just so shook. I didn't know what to do. It was dramatic. It was scary. It was completely out of my control, right? And then the thing is now she does it all the time, and it was an exercise. It is an exercise in trust, and I feel like you can learn from this example, relate it to your life somehow, some way. It's like allowing something to be free, knowing, right? She's smarter than I am as a human. She definitely is more in tune. When she walks through the forest, I've tried to mimic her. Like where she walks with her feet, I'll be barefoot and try to walk where she walks. And everywhere that animal steps, she doesn't step on anything hard. She doesn't step on anything pokey. It's always soft. It's just perfect. Like it fits right in there. And so, I guess whatever you have been putting responsibility into that has brought you a feeling of freedom and more responsibility, I feel like this is growing, but there's also a test in letting go of control somehow, some way, to that which you feel responsible for. Okay, we'll leave it like that. Capricorn. So let's go one by one. I chose some cool cards for you. If you don't know this deck, I really love it. It's called Begin. It's bigger. Can you see? Compared to the size of my face. All right, let's see your first one. Interesting. I need more information there. Just a second. Okay. That's a beautiful combination. I also heard confirmation. Alrighty, what's going on here? You have a lot of yellow. That's your energy, right? That's your power, your chi. Are you exercising? Are you exercising? Are you moving your body? Do you feel comfortable when you wake up in the morning? Does your mind feel rested and clear? Okay, we'll leave it like that, because that has something to do with, what is it? Well, your work and your health relate to those questions, okay? Maybe even the health of your work, whatever that energy is. Okay, let's move along a little bit. Ooh, I love this. You have the card of Weave with the Queen of Wands. It's actually, it's more like this. So we got Leo looking at Scorpio. Or that's the way I see it right now. Well, I heard pay attention to what sparkles, or pay attention, it's like little tiny things are what are creating the in-betweens. You know what? This also reminds me of that song, right? Up the water spout, down came the rain and washed the spider out. Up came the sun and dried up all the rain, and the itsy bitsy spider went up the spout again. This song has a dual message, right? First of all, why are you building? Why would one build in a water spout, right? In where when it rains, when it's really emotional, it's just gonna blast out whatever just was created. But I guess if you're in tune with the weather, then you can kind of do that. But then there does need to be a realization of where to build something, right? That's important. What you're building with. And the other side of that is, even if you are building something and it is there is a challenge, well, you can overcome that. So maybe you want to look at, I heard what you're working with, and where is it good that you were building, right? It makes sense. It hasn't just been, because if you're, say for instance, you're working with something and it keeps washing out, well then it needs to be built in a different place, right? Or there needs to be questions to why. And this will help see more. This will give you messages also on what you are creating in the in-betweens. I see a very creative, well, it's hard to explain, but I could do it in whatever sign language, although this isn't technical sign language, where your hand is the top of the heart and then you scoop underneath it, and then extended out into the world. There's some sort of love. I guess it's love being shared. This could also be very good for work for some of you. This may be less about the doing and more about the energy towards something, and then it will be more physical later. So I see again, please pay attention to the in-betweens. I heard pretty please. You know, imperfection is so beautiful sometimes, right? Like almost like the inclusions in, you know, there's a stone, but there's like a stone that grew within that stone, right? To some, this would be an impurity, right? But to others, this is something so magical. But there's always more than one of the other. Okay. Well, this combination's really beautiful too. You have the Adorn card with the Fool. Well, I see this as a great faith. Maybe a finishing, or there's like an almost done with something you've been forgiving. Like you're close to the end of finally forgiving it so that you forget it. Right? Or it doesn't keep getting you. You let go of something. It's kind of like the example I gave with Zumi. Like, I trust God. I trust myself. I trust the Zumi. I trust nature, right? The environment and all of this. So when she goes, wherever she goes to Mosey, because everybody needs to explore in their own way. Do you know what I mean? To figure out who they really are or what they really, you know, that's when she's the most free probably. She's an animal, you know. But to really have that place of faith and trust that everything is fine, even when it's out of the control, that's such a beautiful feeling. And granted, sometimes, you know, there's times, I guess I want to keep going with this because I feel like you can understand it. It's, you know, sometimes there's little pings of worry. It'll be like, oh, is she okay? And then I just realize that I need to tune into her energy and be like, and then I sit with myself and I'll ask myself, like, is she okay? Like, is everything okay? And then it goes back into that peaceful place and I'm like, of course it is. And then she'll come on back like, hey, what's up? You know, whenever she does. And it's fine. I don't need to know where she went or what, you know, it'd probably creep me out if I knew everywhere that she went, getting into eating dead things, you know, whatever she's doing. Dog stuff. But yeah, just, there's something about that. Just that's this Fool. It's almost like the Fool's in this bigger, you know, this bigger hand is holding the Fool and the Fool's like, okay, like I can jump, you know. And what that does is it brings you more of being present and having more faith in, you know, the amount of courage and strength that you have as an individual and what you have worked through and experienced, right? Having that faith in other people. Now, of course, there's a time and a place for you to step up and be that in that leadership position when necessary, but really it's about it's like a good boss, right? A good boss would just hire people, train them, right? They would be trained for the job that they were meant to do, and then the boss steps back and handles the boss things. Do you know what I mean? Not that the boss shouldn't be being a good example for the employees. This just fell out of the tree. I'm sitting under the black walnut tree. Actually, there's a few of them. I'm going to make a tincture later. So, point is that, well, I guess this is about trusting others. For a lot of you, this could have to do with your employees or what you consider your children, right? Usually the boss is sort of like a dad or a mom, and then the employees are kind of like the kids, right? It can be this sort of dynamic. But yeah, have faith in other people to solve their problems. Have faith in yourself to solve your problem. Because sometimes there are projections. We can project onto others, like, our own problems. Do you know what I mean? Or try to solve them through other people. We do it all the time. I know for certain, I would say almost every single person, whoever they have been involved with, particularly romantically, is solving either a mother or a father dynamic. Right? Something that was lacking there, trying to solve some sort of puzzle. And that's cool, but then eventually once there's a conscious awareness of this, you don't do it anymore. Right? Whatever that, because it's having more integrity over your own actions and what you're choosing. Right? Good. You just received the star. That's beautiful. Because you do have a great capacity to be non-emotional. But it's almost as if what really sinks deep into the bottom of your heart that you allow through time, right? Experiences together, like, you do feel responsible for that. And it's a really beautiful thing, depending on how you're using it. Because really, as a boss, right, for instance, let's put you in this responsible position. As a boss, the best boss could look at their employees and be like, okay, if I wasn't here, you would know that which you worked with could take your place, right? Or someone in the circumstance. You would feel okay and safe about the fact that could be handled, which is about trust. And I guess wherever one does not trust other people is where it floated. Hold on. Let me gather something. Just a second. When one doesn't trust, I guess it's a Scorpio thing, a Mars thing. I heard maybe something you were lacking. Ooh, interesting. Four of Wands, Ace of Wands, and the Empress. How much faith did your mother have in you as a person, as a child? Like, how much faith does she have in you? It's a part of this. And maybe that's different than what you believe. I don't know. That's another story. Oh. You get bit. Like, were you protected? Or did someone protect you? So if there isn't overly protective for some reason, and a few other signs had this, I mean, there's a difference between need, a true necessity to protect oneself, which is very rare, like to physically like interject and reestablish. And even when that happens, it's say with something that's necessary, then that usually is only for like a moment in time, and then it is corrected, and then the time goes on. It wouldn't be like a constant, you gotta keep something corralled. Do you know what I mean? Like if that's the case, then that's a waste of time. And it also, I heard, interferes with your emotional reflection, which is necessary for you because the opposite of you is the moon. You know, it's not easy, and you can even feel guilty for your own feelings sometimes, right? Yes. So, something there. If you feel good about your job, if you feel good about your work, I see, and maybe some of you doing something a little bit different with that. Like maybe stepping out of a certain place. I saw someone stepping out of a certain place that was comfortable, and then realizing that there needs to be like maybe this goes more into your sleep, your habits, your schedule, something like this. Like if you tweak something in there a little bit, then I see that something you have so much to share, and it's such a beautiful, warm energy. Okay? Ooh, that really got me. I think it was the ant, a fire ant got me. It's okay. Temporary. Lovers and the Emperor. How hard are you on yourself mentally? Like your self-talk, whatever's going on up in this bone hat. Is that pretty mean? Are you mean on yourself? Well, I guess check that. I also see there's a very serious decision also being considered. I feel like this is more working into the next, maybe this is like an eight week process, 2-month process from whenever you find this. I also feel like there's something about April. What is this saying? It goes back to 8 though. No, it goes back to 8. Well, I guess you want to look at this would be a really nice time. So I'm recording this in Cancer season, right? Your opposite. Happy opposite birthday again. Which to me shows the moon in Capricorn. And this is a nice time to, right? Because the goat goes into the shell, becomes a crab, or like becomes a turtle. And you can just kind of be in that space. You have the opportunity to do that. I guess this would also mean kind of taking a little alone time in this time could also be helpful. you know, to kind of redirect, again, energy so you could pay attention to these in-betweens. But I do feel as if you should look at your relationships with other people, especially that which is very close to your heart, that you love dearly. And again, I guess this could be people that you feel responsible for. And I feel like maybe you want to write down, why do you, like, I feel responsible for this person or this situation because something like that. Like, really, really go over that. Look, there's a deep, because there's a deeper contemplation that's needed. You have a lot of fire here. So it's meant to be taken in a, well, I heard approached with confidence, right? Meaning that when you go into this emotional space or these contemplative in-betweens, you feel strong enough to go in there to address something more logically, and also burn off, to have this fire burn off any old stagnant water, right? It's like you're putting the filter on. Interesting. You do have some really beautiful cards here on the board. Queen of Wands again, so creative, so passionate, so confident. Also, what she's looking at is, there's also a possibility, like an ability here for someone to see something really clearly, like again, the in-betweens are being shown. Trusting where you and your loved ones will roam. Okay. Yeah, Empress, Emperor, beautiful energy. There is a space in between them, though. Maybe it's something about people's work schedules, too. I see that, especially if we're talking about people that live together. Something about schedules and, I don't know, maybe there's, again, some space that's neat. Space will help. Space will help. Space will help faith. I heard, thank God where you live. You know, for your home, for your eyes, for your friends, for your family, for your bed. What is your practice right now, too? And I heard praxis, but what is your practice in ways of your prayer? Now, of course, to me, anybody can do it any old way you want, but there's something about maybe having more of an intention. It could just be weekly, you know, there's something. Just to offer that back will also give faith to that, give love to that, is going to help you also let go of control of other things that aren't necessary, that come from an unconscious place in you. Secret. Yeah. It'll like let it go. You know, or make it easier so that you know, as badass as you are, look at these two awesome felines, you know, like your power, you're super strong, so adaptable, so creative, you know. I heard, but you got to believe in yourself to make that happen, right? But it's okay sometimes to not climb the mountain. It's okay to not save something. It's okay to step back and let somebody see what somebody else might do. You know what I mean? Like, allow things to be. You know, because I really feel like in this time, look how cool that looks. I really feel like in this time, this is a very opening space into something, some sort of new growth in yourself. Without some of you may not even realize this is happening, but it's very much, you know, they say Pluto's about to leave your sign, you know, and it's been there a while, and that's a big change. And at the last degrees of any, they say, of any star, it's sort of like a teeter-totter point. You know what I mean? We can understand the forward momentum of it and where the energy is meant to be directed and go with that, even though it's Pluto a little bit scary, right? Or we can lean back into like what used to be and just like what's comfortable and, you know, not want to let go. But with Pluto, we always have to let go. You know, that's the lesson of Scorpio. Well, this is what I heard. I feel like there was a time, it could even be now for some of you, where you feel like you've asked for something but it didn't arrive. And you almost feel like some prayers aren't answered, or if there's something like that. Well, I heard then there should be like a gratitude list will balance that, whatever that feeling is. Maybe it's just pulling you back into, maybe that example was just energy that pulls you back into a questioning yourself, because I don't know, I just saw the moon, you know. Yeah, there you are. You know exactly what to do. And that which you do not know, well, I heard you can ask Scorpio. Maybe so. Cool, you received rhymes. I think Pisces and somebody else did too. I like when they come. Anyway, I felt like time was interesting in that space. Oh, I do hope this was of service. And then you enjoyed the backyard, the sunlight. This is a pretty big black walnut. I love the way, or maybe you can see it. Hold on. The leaves when they... To me, they always look like they're spinning a little bit. Like they're always... They filtered the light really pretty. All right, anyway, thank you for being here. Of course, please take care of yourselves. Thank you for being a part of this life. It's a blessing. And you are such a reliable, beautiful, steady energy. But remember, you are allowed to be well, I guess with you and Saturn, there's always a big test in trust, right? Take care of yourselves. Peace.